Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Flynn, and I'm here with
Scott Lang.
And we are the Band Dads. Here to bring you a podcast about something that we care very dearly about, which is music education and band.
Some of you are here because you want to learn about all things band. Some of you are here because you want to see a train wreck. And the answer is yes to both of those. We don't care why you're here. We're going to answer all the questions. We're going to say the things you're thinking. We're going to debunk all the myths.
Yep. This is the Band Dads Podcast.
The podcast by and for confused band parents.
Nice. You said the tagline. We're here now, and it's the middle of January, and I swear, I looked at the calendar today. I'm like, okay, so January's halfway over, because I feel like I'm still in my holiday hangover, man. Like, I just can't get back into the groove. Like, I don't really want to do anything. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I'm like, I feel like, to that point, I guess I was still doing some work. I had some projects as Five Deuce Media did during the holiday that actually was pretty. I had a lot of work. So maybe that's why I still feel that way. But I'm like, God, man. Like, anyway, how about you? You have a good holiday?
I will tell you, since it's January, it's the happiest time of the year. People say it's Christmas.
Happiest time of the year?
Yeah, because people say it's Christmas. It's the happiest time of the year. Have clearly never been to the mall. Okay. I just want to make that really clear.
I didn't know people go to the mall anymore.
Or Costco. Have you ever been to Costco?
I was at Costco last weekend. It was not happy.
No, not a happy place. But January is the happiest time of the year.
What are you talking about? How?
Well, I'll explain it after I introduce ourselves. I'm Scott Lang. He's
Chris Flynn.
And we're the
Band Dads.
Here's why January is the happiest time of the year.
I don't know if I agree
is because it's the time kids sign up for band. And if you're a jerk, they're not going to take your class.
Oh.
And so I always said, if you want to see Mr. Lang at his happiest, you visit a classroom in January.
Okay.
Because I am the
you're putting on a show?
Most delightful. What I basically ask myself every day is, what would Scott normally do? And I do the exact opposite of that.
So again, I'm thinking about sitting in your classroom, and I think I would see right through you. I'd be like, this guy was a jerk all year, and now he wants to try, huh?
Dude, I can. Remember when I told you, I was telling something about this yesterday when I was at Florida Music Educators. I said, Chris and I disagreed on the term manipulate versus motivate.
Well, yeah.
And I said, it's 118 freaking degrees outside, and I'm going to convince you to go outside for 3 hours carrying 45 pounds of sheet metal. That is manipulation.
Yeah, you're not
so
wrong.
So if I can convince you to do that, I can certainly convince you in an air-conditioned room in January that I'm a delightful human being and you should spend another year with me.
I think often when we have conversations, Scott, we come back to your delusions of grandeur. But you know what? I guess we could always try. But
the great Oz has spoken.
But
I had a different word than delusion.
Yeah,
okay, I was
exactly. See, our word choice. We don't always agree sometimes, But I think one of the interesting things that you just mentioned is...
Are you saying I'm not delightful?
I did not say that.
But were you implying it?
I think there's a level of reality versus the level of your perception. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're not delightful, but your level of delightful is like...
disconnected from reality?
I'm saying you have your own reality. Yes, 1,000%.
Oh my God, I like the way you speak to me.
And anybody who's ever met Scott Lang probably knows what I'm talking about. There is a reality that exists.
I like how you speak to me like I'm a small child. And you're trying to convince me like Santa Claus is real. No, Scott, really. I think in your world, this all makes perfect sense.
Where I come from, we say things
Which
directly.
Is where? Boston?
Yes.
Yeah,
we say
no
things directly, and we just tell you what we think. Anyway, so at the end of the day, though, where I was going with this is, so you mentioned a good point, because it is that time of year. Our kids just signed up for classes or started to register for classes the other day. They just had incoming freshman night.
2 nights ago.
Yep, just went to incoming freshman night. So that's all a thing. And one of the things actually that you and I did kind of close to the holiday or over the break was some stuff that you were doing for Be Part of the Music in terms of trying to get people interested in getting kids in music. Yeah.
For those who don't know, I am involved and started 12 years ago a nonprofit called Be Part of the Music, which is free recruitment and retention resources that you should check out at bepartofthemusic.org. But here's what I want to give as a caveat to that, which is everything we're about to talk about is about how parents recruit.
Right.
That this episode is so that you understand the recruiting process, understanding the recruiting cycle, and understand what you as a parent can do to impact that. So I want to start with a philosophical question for Chris, because Chris is the data analyst.
Yeah.
So Chris is the unfeeling human being who operates on spreadsheets and doesn't give two craps. Oh,
about philosophy? Yeah. Go ahead. Ask me a philosophical
Didn't you just
question.
Call me delusional. All right, Chris.
Yes.
There are 182 instructional days in a school year.
Okay.
Minus teacher and services, which are 5 days. So it's typically 187 paid days in a school year.
Okay.
Is it better to have taught one brilliant lesson to 181 kids for one day than it is to have taught brilliantly to 5 kids for 185 days?
I would say that the impact of the larger group probably has a bigger effect.
Yeah, so that philosophically paints recruitment and retention as the number one problem facing music education.
Right.
So here's the thing that I think, as a parent, I want you to think through this. It's a numbers game. That there are so many teacher sections, which is a class period, assigned for so many kids, and building a master schedule, it's a math problem. And so the more kids you have, the more important you become. The more kids you have, the more sections you're going to get.
Funding. We talked about when band directors negotiating salary. We talked about there's a certain amount of money each student is worth, etc.
$9,000 in Arizona, $9,783. But here's the thing that's really important. I've yet to find a problem that enrollment doesn't make better. If you want better saxophones, get more saxophones. You want assistant director, get more kids. If you want better facility, get more kids. If you want more budget, get more kids. It's literally, and the funny part is, it's the one thing that's within our control.
Okay.
Like, I can't control what the State Department of Education, before they got closed down, would do. I can't control what my State Board of Education does. I can't control what my governing board does. I can't control what my principal does. The one thing I can control is my own enrollment.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that solves everything. Yet it's the one thing we kind of play monkey see, monkey do, and we just try and do the same thing every year and pray to God we get kids to join our group.
What does that look like today? What does this monkey see, monkey do every day?
I'm going to do a junior high band night at a football game, and then I'm going to perform at the incoming 8th grade orientation night.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been that way for 35 years.
Right.
But, kids aren't the same as 35 years ago.
Right.
And parents aren't the same as they were 35 years ago.
Right.
And so the reason I start with that is because I think it's important for parents to understand that, like, this is the survival of your band program.
Yeah.
And you can either step back and go, oh, shucks, I wish we had more funding. Or you can say, I'm going to make it impossible not to fund us. And that's enrollment.
Right.
Shucks, I wish the band were bigger. Or you can do something about it and make the band bigger. Like, it's an interesting concept that now recruitment and retention has become a communal effort. It's not a band director effort.
Which is a really good point. And parents, if you do believe in what we talk about, which is the benefit that this activity has on your kids, think about the power of what you could do, as Scott is saying. So, a band director is one individual who already is stretched very thin for what time they have to do their responsibilities, let alone adding this on top of that. But if we're talking about there's 50, 60, 100 parents who, to your point, even if it's one other family, one other kid, one friend that they're trying to recruit, that is infinitely more powerful than just trying to rely on this one person who doesn't really have the time to do it anyway.
And may not have the skill sets, even if they have the time.
No, that's a fair point.
And we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about what a parent should do. But like, I wrote a 6-email sequence for our band that goes to all the parents. You know why? Our band director doesn't have the time to write it. He's certainly capable of it. He's certainly competent.
Right.
It's that he doesn't have the time. So I'll make the time to do it.
Right.
But the thing I want to stress with parents is there's not a problem that can't be solved with enrollment.
Yep.
So this, as a band booster group, as a band parent group, as a concerned parent of Bobby Schmoopaloo, that this should be at the forefront of your mind is, what can we do to add one child? So I want to start with a program that, Chris, you helped me with.
Yes.
We filmed a series of videos about 6 weeks ago called Fill the Chair.
Fill the Chair, yep.
And so the theory was, what's the cost of an empty chair? Mm-hmm. And you don't know this, but we went to a national clinic over Christmas break, and we had the chair sitting out, and we had every person write the word from their life that would be missing if they didn't have music. So I wrote my wife's name. I would not have met her without music.
Yeah.
And there are two things that were striking about that. Number one, a booth that usually had 30, 40, 50 visitors over 3 days. We had 895 signatures.
Wow.
So what a compelling message. Here's the second thing. No one wrote anything about music on there.
Wasn't about the curriculum, huh?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And so as a parent, we're not talking about fighting for your band program. We're talking about fighting for children against vaping. We're fighting for children against dropping out. We're fighting for children against having self-esteem issues or self-harm issues. And I sometimes feel like we're embarrassed to be right. And we almost are apologetic. Oh, please, sir, fund our music program. Here's my thought. Fund the music program or you hate children.
Ooh,
you're an idiot.
That's a good line. You hating children? Say that to somebody.
That's true.
I mean, you'll get a reaction for sure.
I mean, am I wrong?
No.
If we know music's good for children's academic performance, if we know children's good for children's self-aware emotional well-being, if we know that children's better, we keep them off drugs and alcohol and vaping, if we know that music is better and keeps the kids from being late to class, then then fund the damn class.
I mean, you mentioned it before. You talked about, hey, if we change the name to violence prevention, like, can we get more funding?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
it's a good point.
I want to take parents through the 6-step process for how you help your band program recruit. And it can be overwhelming. So I want to say, and we'll use Chris. Chris is going to fill a chair.
Okay.
I don't want you to fill 50 chairs. I want you to fill one chair.
Okay.
Because one chair times 50 kids or one chair times 10 parents. And what I used to challenge my own students to, which was this, find me one kid. But if 10 of you do that every year, that's 40 kids over a 4-year life cycle.
Yeah.
And that's not just another class. That's just not 40 more in the marching band. That's 40 more lives that we can change.
Absolutely.
So when you think about this, the 2 takeaways are recruitment and retention is everybody's problem.
Right.
And number 2 is that it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Is that if we want to grow our impact, we have to grow our numbers, and we have to approach it like it's a numbers game. So as Chris knows, because he helped me film the series, there's 6 steps that we're going to talk about. And all these are available at a URL that is at the bottom of this page. It's ftc.bepartofthemusic.org. FTC meaning fill the chair.
Right.
But he will put it, your director should be aware of this, and you should be aware of it.
Yes.
But it's a 6-step process, which is it starts with number 1. Gather your resources, gather your team. So if I asked you, Chris, who's the most important person in recruitment and retention, who would it be?
I would think, I would probably think the existing students in the program themselves.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
And we think that we should go to the junior high, and we think we should create social media posts, and we think we should talk at the parent night, and we think we should be at the 8th grade incoming assembly and talk about band. I got news for you. A 13-year-old kid doesn't give a rat's butt what I think.
I'm laughing because we answered this question once on a previous mailbag episode when a parent or Carrie from Connecticut asked the question. And like you said, nobody's listening to the 50-year-old guy.
No,
they're just they don't care what
And the funny part is, like, whether, when you're a band director, you have no time, you have no extra time, you have no bandwidth, and you have no energy. You know who has all that stuff? A 17-year-old.
That's a good point.
And I got news for you. Man, I taught some kids who were 10 times smarter than I ever was.
I have no doubt about that.
Oh, shut up.
That was too easy.
It was. I did kind of.
Oh, you did, huh, Scott? No kidding.
Shocker. I can't believe that. I just assumed you were the smartest person I know. Why, thank you, Chris. That's very nice of you.
Yes. It's some real erudite 17-year-olds out there.
I love that you're finally learning the words I use.
I try. I'm trying to get to your level.
So the first thing that you got to do is build a team.
Yeah.
And the team is of parents.
Okay.
And the team is of kids.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you want to do is a music teacher is get in the way. You'll screw it up. I guarantee it.
So you just make me think about the point. I'm sure, you have a student leadership team, right? And those individuals are probably the best role models to help lead something like that. But when it comes to a parent group, I guess this is a good extension of those boosters, maybe even, right? Because one of the things that I know booster groups try and do is break up responsibilities. Maybe you have different, what we call them, committees or groups or whatever.
Cults.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cults within the cult.
What was maybe that, episode 5? Culture comedy show, band boosters.
Episode 7. Anyway, regardless, maybe this is a function that you specifically assign a group to, and that's their responsibility within your boosters too.
So there's the exact example. It's a great example, Chris. So I actually am an advocate of give them a practice room and get called the Office of Recruitment and Retention.
Ooh.
And you appoint a student and a parent recruitment czar. Now remember, in case you're unfamiliar with history, czars have unchecked and unparalleled power. And I would give that to a 17-year-old.
Well,
Whatever it takes to go get me a kid, you go get it done.
You give them power and you tell them this is your office, I'm sure you'll get some kids interested in that.
And that's the thing. Like, these kids are so passionate about band, it's giving them permission to talk about the things they already love to talk about.
Yeah.
And you walk a polished 17-year-old girl and a polished 17-year-old boy into a room full of 12 and 13-year-olds, they could sell ice cream to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard.
Right.
So step number 1 is gather your team.
Yep.
So as a parent, if you're listening to this, you want to gather a team of 2 or 3 parents, and you want to tell your band director to get the heck out of the way and help gather a team of 2 to 3 to 5 kids across different skill sets, different instruments, different abilities, and say, listen, here's the deal. We are going to go after every single incoming 8th grader, and then we're going to go find 15 new kids that exist in this school that either dropped out of band and need to come back, or they were never in band, but they're always hanging around anyway, so let's get them in band.
Gotcha.
So number 1, get out of the way. Gather your team, gather your resources. Now, all the resources that we're going to talk about are available at bepartofthemusic.org. So it's all there.
Completely free, by the way.
It's all completely free. Yep. And it's at the landing page, ftc.bepartofthemusic.org. Fill the chair.
Yep.
So rule number 1, gather your team, gather the resources.
Yep.
Get the band director out of the freaking way.
Makes sense.
Because the thing about what appeals to the X-year-old male or female is not what appeals to kids.
Right.
Kids respond to kids. Adults respond to adults.
Right.
Which is actually my second point. Fight fire with fire. Kids talk to kids. Parents talk to parents. And band directors talk to administrators and counselors.
Yeah.
Their job is to grease the skids. What class periods? What are my conflicts?
Yep,
where are the singletons that I have to avoid?
Sure.
But you really want to keep it peer-to-peer instruction. So like if you are a kid, I want you talking just to kids, speaking kid language, do it in kid mediums, TikTok, Instagram stories, reels, whatever it is that kids are going to respond to. And if you're an adult, you're going to talk via coffee couches, via emails, like the email campaign, that I sent out.
I mean, even for adults, social media is a really powerful platform. I mean, I know in particular, I'll throw myself under the bus a little bit. I know I gain a lot of unique experience, thoughts, ideas, and things from Reddit. I use Reddit a ton.
I do
find
like
a
Reddit
lot of
too.
value in Reddit, right?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people still rely on like Facebook groups, and there's Facebook groups that I feel like support specific things that can be very powerful for individuals as well. So wherever that might be, to your point, those are the places.
Well, and the thing is, like today's email, and maybe Chris will post, I don't know. It talks about, I talk about one of the reasons I send my kid to Basha is the band director.
Right.
He can't write that about himself.
That's a good point.
He can't brag on himself.
That's a good point.
He can't say the band is the greatest activity at Basha High School because he would offend his colleagues. I can say things that he can't. And I can say to a parent, listen, I was a music educator and I love this activity for that. But that has nothing to do with why my kid's in band.
Yeah.
It's vaping.
Yeah.
It's I'm worried about drugs.
Right.
I'm worried about having too much free time or screen time. I can say those things and they're genuine because it really is the stuff that scares the crap out of me.
Right. And it's relatable to that parent as well.
Yeah. So rule number 1 is gather your team and the band director should be removed from the process.
Yep.
Rule number 2 is fight fire with fire. And by the way, at ftc.bepartofthemusic.org, we've got all the parent scripts, all the social media scripts. We got all the kid scripts. You build spreadsheets. You upload the 8th grade roster. You check how many times you contacted them. But number 1 is build your team and it does involve an adult. Number 2, fight fire with fire. Kids on kids, parents on parents, and teachers on counselors and administrators.
Okay.
So you're speaking similar language with shared experiences, shared fears,
Gotcha.
and shared values. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. The third thing is, do you know, you're a social media guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if this is true, but I read a lot of marketing books. How many points of contact does it take to change someone's mind?
How many total? Maybe I don't have the exact answer, but I know it's a minimum of 3, but I don't know the total answer.
The number I've read is 13.
Interesting.
It's that if Target, you want to see a Target commercial and you're going to see it 3 times and then you're going to drive by and see Target sign and then you're going to open up your paper.
Sorry, right. You're right. What I'm confusing it with is the way at which you communicate something, meaning that you do a visual medium, you do an auditory medium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through the different mediums, because that's the only way to really get.
And you know that the ads you put on TikTok may not come across my feed, but the ads you put on Insta Reels does come across my feed because I only have 2 things, band and golden retrievers. Well, 3, and Nate Bargatze. Those are the only 3 things that come across my feed.
Gotcha.
But the bottom line is so you can't just do a one-off event.
Right.
Or, I mean, you are the expert at this more than anybody. So how would you recommend a parent or a kid approach speaking to an audience via social media?
Again, I guess I would do it the best way I can say this is try and find your own voice or try and find a unique voice, meaning that if you try and present yourself the same way that everybody else presents themselves, you just blend in. You just disappear into the rest of the crowd, right? So
give me a way. That's a great point I hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good at social media. I'm not active. What would be a way that a band named, Millersport High School could stand out from, let's say, Miller's View High School?
Okay. So it's tough for me to give you a specific answer. And the reason
I just gave you Millersport and Miller's View. That's very specific.
That's really helpful, by the way. Anyway, one of the reasons why
I am nothing if not
really
helpful.
One of the reasons why I think we were able to, I guess, gain some success socially with just a local Arizona high school band was me investing myself into learning about the program and learning about the kids. And to your point, so I had to go find it. So it's hard for me to define for you to tell you exactly what's unique about your program.
But find something that's not the same as other programs.
Yeah. If you're using, I hate to say this, but if you're using the same Canva templates that everybody else is, then people just kind of look past it. I don't know. It's the same noise, and kids do this even with their social media. They'll scan right past something that's the same thing that they've seen a million times, but the second something is different or unique perspective is given or something, that's what gains their attention for about 2.5 seconds. But anyway, but that can be powerful enough. Now for us, it was also, I will tell you this, for us, it was also being willing to not just be serious about how awesome we are, but have a sense of humor about it. Meaning that like there was stuff I was willing to do that was kind of making fun of what we were doing sometimes. And I think people, especially people that like the activity already, could appreciate the fact that it was kind of self-deprecating. So anyway, but we have a good sense of humor. To your point, our director has a great sense of humor. He doesn't take himself too seriously. So that was kind of the personality of what we do. Hey, we're serious, we're competitive, but we're not so much you're going to hate us and be annoyed by how competitive and over the top.
So the point in what Chris is saying is like, okay, yes, you should do an eighth grade halftime show. Yes, you should do a joint concert. Yes, you should perform at the 8th grade open house. Great. That's 3 of the 13. Now, to Chris's point, we got to find 10 other ways, whether it's texting, whether it's Instagram, whether it's, and then within a vehicle, we'll say Instagram, 3 or 4 different posts over 5 or 10 different days.
Right.
So that you are getting multiple views. So step 1 is obviously gather your team, gather your resources, and get the band director out of the way. Step 2 is fight fire with fire, kids with kids, parents with parents, teachers with teachers. And then step 3 is remind, re-engage, and reassess.
Okay. What is that?
If Target's going to take 13 times to convince me to buy deodorant, then you need 13 times to convince me to join band.
Oh, God, I hope you don't need convincing to wear deodorant. I've never noticed you had a problem, but you did mention once before that you may have an issue with your hygiene. But Target, don't give up yet. There's still hope, I guess. Just keep trying. Keep trying. But I like.
If you notice in the video, we are 5 feet apart.
That's a good point. But I like your point about re-engagement because real quick, just to back to what you just said, all those things that you mentioned in terms of those basic activities that everybody's doing are the things you're supposed to do, but you're not necessarily stimulating anybody with those things. Those are the things people expect. So with this whole re-engage thing, tell us more about what.
So here's the thing about re-engagement. And the one thing I will tell you, I think it's important to know that, Chris, are you afraid of anything? What are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of?
Like, man, snakes freak me out. Spiders freak me out. I'm not a heights person.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that before. I don't know, man. Mine's going to be, I don't want to get too weird with it, but mine's really just the fear. I just have a fear of death in general, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, fear trumps knowledge always. I don't know if we've talked about this on the, but we have. Okay, fear.
Yes.
So the point is, there's a couple things. You always want to lower fears, and fears center when you're communicating with kids and parents. Fears center around 3 things. Number 1, lack of skill.
Right.
Number 2, lack of money.
Yep.
Number 3, lack of time.
Yep.
And so the most important thing you can do while you're engaging with these people is lower their fears. Look, you don't have to be talented. We'll teach you everything. Look, it's not that much time. Like in the email today, it said it's Monday after school and 2 nights a week. And it's only for 3 months.
Right.
And number 3 is lack of money. If you can't afford it, we'll provide an instrument. We provide a uniform.
Right.
But the most important fear that you lead with is fear of missing out.
Right. Yeah.
Is that so on your 12th and your 13th communication, it's everybody else has joined.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Interesting.
So that I think is part of the journey when you're re-engaging and reassessing. So every week you're looking at, well, who signed up, who didn't, who responded, who didn't, what parents said they were signed up, and double checking that they signed up, that what kid was on the fence and have we reconnected with them, that after that first week where you're out recruiting, you've assessed your team, you got your materials, you got kids talking to kids, parents talking to parents, the band directors talking to the administration. It's then in the next 2.5 weeks before those kids turn in those slips, how many times can I contact them through how many venues?
Interesting. Okay.
So step 1, gather your team, gather resources. Step 2, you want to make sure that you're fighting fire with fire. Step 3, you want to re-engage and reassess for 14 consecutive days before they actually grow. And then step 4, which is trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Yeah. You know who came up with that?
No.
It's Ronald Reagan.
Oh.
Ronald Reagan, when he was trying to sell Star Wars to the country, it was, we have to trust that they'll say they're not going to have nuclear proliferation, but we have to verify.
For those of a certain age, Scott's not referring to the movie. Just FYI. Just so you know, there was a program that the government.
So I'll give you an example. One year, I thought I had an incoming class of 45 freshmen, and I got my roll sheets, and it was like 31. And I'm like, I'm missing 16 kids.
Yeah, you once said that enrollment days were sometimes the hardest days for you.
Oh, it's the darkest day of the year.
Yeah.
Because you take every kid personally.
Right.
And I was crushed. I'm like, oh my God, I thought I had 45. These kids love me. They want to be in band. And
You're so delightful. Why wouldn't anyone not want to re-engage with Scott?
It is hard to fathom now, isn't it, Chris?
It really is.
Because I'm a bucket full of awesome sauce.
A bucket full is a word for sure.
So I went down so the way it worked in our district is you listed 4 electives. And so I went down and they had a binder full of every 8th grade's registration, the blue sheet, they called it.
Okay.
And I sat for an hour and a half and I read every blue sheet. And I found out they were trying to make a CTE class work. So any kid that listed that CTE class as one of his 5, they put it at number 1. It trumped band. It trumped whatever they put. They just needed to make the class full. They needed to round out a coach's schedule. And so they took my kids from me who said band was my number 1 elective, but CTE was number 4, and they put them in CTE.
I gave you a side eye because you not long ago mentioned that maybe if a particular group is trying to pass support for a vote that might give them funding, they should do something to stand out and about what makes them different, right? Stand apart from charter schools, for instance, public
Correct.
schools.
Yeah,
Why are we better? Why are we different?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've received anything in the mail lately, but my kids just received something in the mail. So I thought it was interesting because it's almost like the thing you talked about they should do, they just did, but they did it to the kids, not the parents who are the actual influencers. And it's exactly what you just talked about. So you almost side-eyed it because they literally just sound on a mailer directed to kids about CTE programs. So now I'm like rolling my eyes like, uh-oh.
And here's the thing. Here's where that upsets me. Is if you're going to advocate for one program, then you have to advocate for all. That really upsets me that we use district resources and district protocols and district time and different district PR and mailing costs and didn't support every activity.
I'm talking about nice trifold, glossy, full color. Like it cost them a ton to produce these
because
things.
it came from there's a name for the grants that come with CTE. It's not the
Gotcha.
It's the Charles Pickens grants.
That's where the gotcha.
Perkins.
But to your point, it is frustrating because people like us who are already aware of the benefits of what our kids are doing. And it still seems like it's not.
Yeah, so I want to gather a bucket full of those and light them on fire and put them at the district's doorstep.
Okay. Hey, let's do that. But I'm sure that will go over well. I don't think we'll get
chilly in the morning. I'm sure the police won't be there too fast. I mean,
we can get out of there fast.
So that's the thing. If you're a parent, is you have to understand it's not enough for a kid to say they signed up. You have to verify. You circle back the week afterward. Sure. Because if you wait till your rosters come out, it's too late. They can move the kid into your band, but you didn't get credit on your roll sheet for it.
Yeah.
So you have 165, but you were only funded at 145 because it wasn't correct before they did staffing counts.
So let's say if the parents are the czars, they're the ones talking, they're the ones doing the recruiting, talking to the parents.
Czars for parents, and the kid is the czar for kids.
That's what I mean. So the band director then is the one that has to go in and work with the counselors maybe and make sure that he's having the conversation with the counselors about making sure certain kids are signed up like they said they were going to be. Like, where does that fall?
100%.
Okay.
I want to make sure that my first tower is conflict free against other singletons. I want to make sure I had 32 freshmen indicate they were going to be in the group. Here's the list of the 32 freshmen.
Gotcha.
How can I'm too busy. Well, just give me the blue book. I'll look and make sure.
Okay.
I mean, you have to verify because a counselor or an administrator is competing against a wide variety. Maybe they really like this coach and they have to round out his schedule, or it's a new startup program and they're trying to get it off the ground, and they will use whatever means are at their disposal to make that happen.
Maybe that program has special funding that allows it to do marketing.
For instance.
Yeah, for example.
So we got step 1, which is gather your resources and gather your team. Step 2 is fight fire with fire. Step 3 is remind, re-engage, reassess.
Okay.
Step 4 is trust but verify.
Good point.
And step 5, and the final step, is you got to sit back and take stock of your efforts after it's all done and write down what worked and what didn't work for next year.
Okay.
Because we only do it once a year, and all we do is we wait till December, and then, let's be honest, we panic and go, oh, shoot, Nikes. 8th grade parents' nights in 3 days, and I didn't do anything. Or I haven't been to the junior high. Or it's the second to last football game, and I forgot to invite the 8th graders. Or we did this last year and it didn't really work.
That's a good point.
I was talking to a band director and he was like, oh, for my 8th grade parent night, I have small ensembles performed throughout the auditorium. And I said, how does that resonate with 11-year-olds? And he's like,
True.
Not great. I said,
True.
Then don't do it next year.
That's a good point.
Like, show a cool video, show a famous person talking about music. Like that. If we're going to make our marching band show 3% better every year, if we're going to make our concert bands 3% better, our recruitment has to be 3% better every year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So step 1 is gather resources. Step 2, fight fire with fire. Step 3 is re-engage and reassess at all times. Step 4 is trust but verify. Take 5 is take stock and sit back. And step 6, I think, is really, really important. And step 6 is don't forget to re-recruit the kids you got. And it goes back to the start of the podcast.
Okay.
I've got these kids 5 days a week, and now for some of them for 3 years, 4 years. And it's really easy to have the shiny new, I hear robotics is cool. I mean, I've had Mr. Lang, and I love band, but I've never done robotics. Well, they sign up for robotics, and they're like, well, this is boring. Well, it's too late. Marching band's kicked off.
Gotcha.
You have to re-recruit the kids that sit in front of you every day and remind them that, yeah, it's cold. Yeah, it's dark. Yeah, you've done this before, but hey, we're going to Hawaii next year.
That's a great point.
Or we're getting new uniforms next year.
Good point. Right.
Or I'm doing, this show reveal that's amazeballs.
Right. That's a good point.
So that's why, to circle back in our recruitment and retention episode, and while this may seem a little bit mercurial or different for a parent, you have to understand band directors are bad at this and they need your help. But the final step is never, ever, ever forget to re-recruit the kids you already have. So when it's like that, someone showed me today, we've got to do a coupon for a business I'm consulting with in music. They said, if you're a new client, you get X. And I said, what if you're an existing client? And they went, well, we're not offering that. I know it does. And I said, you're pissing me off because you're ignoring the person who gave you 15 years.
Yeah.
If we don't recruit and make our own kids feel special, first of all, mathematically, they're 3/4 of the band.
Right.
You're ignoring 3/4 of your band, but you're ignoring the kids who did give you blood, who did give you sweat, who did give you tears, and need to be re-recruited as well.
That should be really relatable to you parents. I mean, I can literally think about, I'm going through this right now with my friggin' storage unit and how much the cost has gone up. But if I go sign up for a new one right now, it's half the price. Internet service providers, parents, this should be incredibly relatable to you.
You could just get a dumpster and throw it away.
No, I can't do that. But parents, that should be incredibly relatable to you. So this is a good point. And again, this is where I think that those boosters can kind of help run some of those activities and maybe do some appreciation things and do other things that maybe, again, the band director doesn't necessarily have time to do.
And again, so it's the most important thing that we do. We frame the question of, is it better to teach a great lesson to 187 kids for one day or teach 187 great lessons to 10 kids every day? And the answer is that you got to fill the chair, because in the end, an empty chair is an empty life.
Yeah.
And a full chair is a full life.
Full life. Yeah.
And we've got to fill the chair.
So even though I may have called you delusional earlier in this episode, I would like
many times before.
I would like to point out that you actually do have a lot of great knowledge that people do appreciate, and this is fantastic. I think this is a great outline for people to follow. It gives them calls to action and things that they can start engaging in. But I will tell you that some people do like things a little more specific, meaning that thinking in the scope of this or your experience, or maybe just the multitude of band programs that you've worked with, can you think of some examples of things that maybe you thought were unique that worked well for programs that maybe are a little outside the box, or just a couple of examples of things that come to mind for people to really start jogging their minds and things that they can do?
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say, all the things we talked about are at ftc.bepartofthemusic.org.
Yes.
He'll have the notes in. But we have checklists.
Okay.
We have to-do lists. We have sample parent script, kid scripts. We have Excel spreadsheets. We have everything you could need.
Gotcha.
But in terms of unique, what I always felt like my job was to do was to find the bright, shiny object.
Okay.
And the bright, shiny object might be a person, like a super popular kid that signed up for band.
Okay. Gotcha.
The bright, shiny object might be a trip. The bright, and the comment I made to the director is like, I'm going to do X. And I said, don't do what you think is cool. Do what a 13-year-old thinks is going to be cool.
Interesting.
I would bring a mannequin every year and I would have the uniform on full display. I would bring a video of the band turning the corner at Rose on the Colorado Boulevard for the Rose Parade every year.
Gotcha.
I'd say, you want to be in front of 300 million people? You join the band.
Yeah.
You want to be in this uniform you're looking at? You join the band. I would bring a superior distinction, and I'd say, you want to be in the only band that got a superior distinction in jazz concert and marching last year? You join the band.
Gotcha.
Like, I would bring the bright, shiny object. And for different programs, that might be different things. It might be a trip. It might be a new uniforms. It might be a different kid. It might be a unique activity that you guys do that no other band does.
Right.
But think like a 12-year-old before you decide what you're going to do. And one of the things, it's so stupid. I would bring, this is so dumb. I would bring a bucket full of stuff that represented every activity on the school.
Okay.
And a kid would put on a football helmet, and I'd whack him with a bass drum helmet. I go, yeah, you don't want to join that. You just get hit like that all the time. That doesn't feel good, does it? And then I'd put an art thing. You go, draw something for me. Well, you're clearly not talented at that. Don't do that.
Wow.
I literally would go through every activity until I arrived at band.
I'd like that, yeah.
And I'd grab a kid and go, man, you are going to look sharp in this uniform, turning the corner at Rosecrans and Colorado Boulevard.
It almost sounds like you would manipulate kids, Scott.
It's crazy to think that I would do that. I like to think of it as motivating.
Motivating them? Okay.
No, it's manipulation.
Scott. Yeah.
Because here's the bottom line. Kids want to be a part of something successful.
Absolutely.
They will literally join any club or activity if they feel like they're going to be successful at a state or national level. So I would just tell the kids, you want to be a part of the most successful thing on campus, you join the band.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. And I think that we've also talked about just education and telling. I think that's part of it too, is as much as you can get the kids excited too, those sessions that we have with the parents, the meetings we have with the parents, the more you can educate them and give them the same thing, because I think that's part of it is, especially for people that weren't a part of band, they don't understand the scope, right? They don't understand the exposure. They don't really get how big this thing is
and why we do it. And it's not about music and marching.
Right.
It's about keeping kids safe.
Right.
And giving them a home.
Right.
And that is a powerful message when it comes from another parent. It's lost in translation when it comes from a teacher who benefits from it.
Yeah. Self-serving, as you said before. So this is phenomenal, man. Is there anything else that people should know before they close? I mean, again, we'll give you the resources. We'll give you the link so you can
make sure you check it out. Make sure you share it with your music teacher.
Yep.
But make sure that anything, when you share it with your music teacher, say, here's my plan of action. You stay out of the way. Can you find me 5 kids to join me? And get out of our way.
Yep.
You literally, so the cycle, just so everyone understands, is high schools generally recruit middle schoolers through the month of January and register them the first week in February. So you don't have a lot of time.
I was going to say, this is a call to action. This is something now. This isn't a listen to this and wait 2 months from now.
Yeah.
This is a start today.
Then what happens is typically in January, the month of January, it's existing high school kids register for next year. Then the last week in January, for the first through 2 weeks in February, they register incoming 8th graders to become freshmen next year.
Gotcha.
Then at the end, because it's the same counselors that do all the registration. Then in late February, early March, they begin the process of registering kids at the middle school from elementary schools.
Gotcha.
And then in April, they start to register
Cascades
the
down.
kids who are coming to elementary school for the following year.
Gotcha.
So it's a cyclical thing that starts the first week in January and works its way through 4 months. But if you're listening to this, you're concerned about the first 2 cycles. Re-registering your existing kids in the month of January,
right,
and going and getting the new kids the last week in January and the first 2 weeks in February.
Gotcha. And I do want to point out though, so this is a call to action. This is something we're saying you want to start doing now today if you are not. That said, if you happen to pick up this episode after that time frame, that doesn't mean you've missed your window and you should stop. It means start thinking about what you're going to do to build the program to get to that point. So when that time frame comes again for the next school year, you've got a good plan in place. You've got communication already happening. You've got parents recruiting parents. So even if you happen to miss that window, that doesn't mean turn your back on it. It means you've got time to prepare for next year, because the more time you have to prepare as a data analyst, the more time I have to put together the data and the presentation for my project, the better it's going to be. So,
and I hope that, as foreign as this may all seem to you, that we've provided a blueprint for you, step-by-step checklist, to-do lists. But here's the thing I want you to take away is it's the most foreign thing that you'll do, but it's the most important thing you'll do.
Yeah.
Because when you fill that chair, you fill a life.
Right.
And that is what our goal is.
Absolutely. And we've talked about before, if you're a booster, you get to know those kids, man. They're like an extension. They're like your kids. They're like family. You look out for them in the same way that you look out for your own kids. So think about just growing your family, thinking about making it even bigger. And I don't see any problem with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I don't know why we would have anybody deny this. You know?
Yeah. So check out the resources at ftc.bepartofthemusic.org. Chris will have the link at the bottom. And there's even a special little fun activity called Fill the Chair that we share with you and give you all the resources how to operate. It's a great activity to do with your band in the month of December. But if you have any questions, reach out to us because you know that we're here to help. And I'm Scott Lang.
Chris Flynn. So please, guys, if you want to hear more, if you have more questions about maybe the recruiting process, or maybe you jump into the Fill the Chair program and you maybe have some questions for us, send us an email, feedback@banddadspodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to engage in a conversation to maybe take it a little bit deeper or just give you some additional advice if you need it. If you've followed the program or if you're seeing some success or if you have some tips that maybe you think would help, you can also leave feedback via our fan mail, which is done through text message. If you click send us a text.
And the beauty of doing that, just so you know, if you do it via fan mail, everyone gets to see it. If you send us a private email, we can't post it.
That's true.
So if it's a tip or trick you want to share with the world, you do it via fan mail. If you want to tell Chris how mean he is to me, then you do that via email.
Good news is I don't expect any of those messages. If you would like to back me up on my opinions and where I stand in things in relation to Scott Lang.
My wife is going to post on fan mail. Go get him, Chris.
Nice. But use that fan mail, folks, because again, that's a good place that, to Scott's point, we can publish it to our website. So anybody that goes into our fan mail section can see those things. And actually, I will say this too, and we've done this on our social media. It gives me a chance. I can literally grab a screenshot and sometimes share it on our Instagram or whatever it might be. And it's easier for me to put out to the world if it's in that format as well. So please take advantage of do that. Speaking of social media, follow us on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. We're on TikTok on the Banddads Pod. If you're not following us on YouTube, you can both listen to the episodes for free there, as well as watch some video episodes that we're in the process of posting more as well. So that's a great place to find us on YouTube as well. You can literally get us everywhere. It's wonderful. But, we'll help you get more kids in your program if you just help us fill the chairs. So that's our goal. Let's do it. All right, Scott, thanks. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Take care. Banddads on 3. 1, 2, 3, Banddads!
To stay up to date with the Banddads podcast, visit our website, banddadspodcast.com. Want to communicate with the Banddads? Send an email to feedback@banddadspodcast.com. The Banddads Podcast is a 5 Deuce Media production. For more information, visit 5deucemedia.com. That's numeral 5deucemedia.com. For more information on Scott Lang Leadership and Solutions for Music Education, visit scottlang.net.